Hi, my name is Dr. Dalika Knope and I'm from the University of Bristol and I'm the senior author on this particular paper. Now, for those of you who don't know, roughly about 80% of all suicide deaths occur in low and middle income countries, but the trouble is we know relatively little about behaviour in these contexts. Less than 15% of our research evidence base originates from low and middle income countries. Now, the thing is, suicidal behaviour is really quite complex, and given the significant variability in cultural, economic and medical care between countries, the findings in one might not be applicable to another, and this is likely to be particularly the case for research that's purely conducted in high-income countries. And with so much of the evidence base out there, policymakers and end users of research often look to systematic reviews to help them understand the evidence that's out there to make evidence-based suicide prevention decisions. Now, against this backdrop of suicide research primarily originating from high-income countries, it would be reasonable to assume that the findings from these systematic reviews would only be applicable to high-income settings.
For this umbrella review, we reviewed over 10,000 manuscripts to be able to identify the systematic reviews which were informing suicide prevention, which would be eligible for our review.
So 4 in every 5 of the reviews were led by academics in high-income countries, and nearly 70% of all the included studies within these reviews were from high-income countries themselves. And of the 147 reviews that we looked at, 83% attempted to review the global evidence, so kind of just synthesize everything that's out there. Now, despite the weight of evidence in favour of high-income countries, over 80% of the reviewers of these reviews presented the conclusions of their reviews as if the evidence base was generalisable to a global population, despite the fact that it clearly wasn't.
Sadly, the findings of this review of reviews is in keeping with the normative, although really frankly inappropriate practice in academic publishing, where findings from high-income countries are reported as if they're applicable to all. Now, systematic review authors in the field of suicide prevention are, unfortunately, misrepresenting the findings of their reviews, which ultimately will misguide the users of their research. The majority of systematic reviews included in this review of reviews were led by researchers in high-income countries, and therefore are more likely to see the studies included in their studies as normal. They might fail to see the absence of data from low and middle-income countries. The inadequate representation of research evidence in reviews may lead to economically resource-poor countries investing in prevention approaches, which might be ineffective. And what does that mean? Well, the long-term consequences of this might lead to despondency by policymakers and the public, which is likely to be detrimental for suicide prevention. So we are calling on researchers, peer reviewers and editors to ensure findings are accurately reported.